Hi guys, it's Uga and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing my honest review for The Summoner's Cry by Reis. The author was looking for an ARC team and I applied and I got an ARC, and I'm releasing this review before its release date. The book comes out on October 16. So I want to thank Anna for getting me this ARC and change for my honest review. The Summoner's Cry is about two main characters, Lau and Adam. Lau is a summoner and Adam is a witch lord, which was cursed by Queen Lilith, Witch Queen Lilith, who is evil, and it's going after them to kill them. Adam and Lau are in this island trying to look for Adam's grimoire, who can help him break the curse and defeat Queen Lilith. Adam is cursed, and the way that they solve the problem not to die is to put Lau's powerful summoner dragon or dragon spirit inside Adam, so he can stay in a limbo, not dying and not living. And this is the story. So let's start with what I liked. I think the writing style of Anna, it's very interesting. It's very not simple, but it's a very good writing style. I really appreciate that. The cover is stunning. I love the artwork. I think the cover captures a lot of attention, and I think the pace of the book, it's good. It's not the best. I wish it could be a little bit less fast paced, because I think sometimes it's very fast, but overall it's a very good pace. And these are the things that I mostly enjoy of the book. As you can see, I didn't like the book, not very much, especially because when I was reading the book and seeing that it wasn't a big book, because I read in a Kindle, and I started reading, I was like already 10-15% in. I was like, okay, it's gonna be an interesting read because I'm going very fast, and I didn't have yet the information. I'm just trying to open my Kindle so I can see some of the notes that I did. The first things I thought I saw was, I was reading and then I was 10% in, and I was like, okay, this is going very fast and I still haven't a clue what's happening. I think the prologue sets a very good, interesting premise, and when you start going on the book, everything starts to unveil very fast. First thing that I thought while I was reading and more or less reaching the half point, I was like, this feels the end of a series. Feels like I'm reading a final book or a middle book or a novella that is part of a bigger series, since I'm losing a lot of information. I don't have information. And I was like confused, and I went to Goodreads, see the author's page. It's the book only, and I was confused. I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense, because a lot of things were missing. For example, in instance, she says, or the spirit says, you were the great summoner the world had seen in generations. We never seen she's being a great summoner. She said blood magic is wrong and Lilith used on her. We didn't see that being used. They say there is a war between the Witch Lord and the Witch Queen. We haven't seen that. She said she trained and she's the best of fighting, We didn't see that. We see Adam's curse. We don't understand why it was cursed. How Lau and Adam, since they were on opposite sides, come together, we don't see that. Also, she says in one point, I've done terrible things in my past. We don't see those terrible things. So instead of the author telling me she did terrible things and leave it there, show those terrible things, do flashbacks, do backstory, because it's interesting. It's seeing and showing her character. It's not saying that. Saying for me she's a great summoner, or she was a great summoner in that age, or you are a great summoner, and then 2 pages later, oh, I'm weak, I don't have power, I'm weakless. Okay, you were great, now you're weak. What happened? Why you were there? What happened between you and Adam to end up in that island? She says she's been running away from Lilith for decades. What happened in those decades? She did find you sometimes or not. There was battle. you know, it felt like a lot of this information, which is useful and is interesting, was missing. And I wanted that information, because just dumping that she's a powerful summoner, he's a witch lord, Queen Lilith is evil, I was under her control, and don't see those things, it really doesn't have any effect, because saying that or not saying doesn't change my perspective on the character or on his powers, you know. It talks about here ancient magic and how the witch queen and witch lord magic were different, or they believe in different things. It was interesting to know that and to understand why there was such a war, since she says she did terrible things. Decades had passed since Lilith cursed Adam. Okay, what happened in those decades, how she was cursed, there was in the battle, how, you know, those connections really lose sense, because you're reading and you're like, okay, I'm missing stuff. Even if I was no longer Lilith's favorite executioner, okay, she was Lilith's executioner, but what was she role, how she ended up there, you know, all these things would be interesting if there was a series and this book was like in the middle, and we understand those things, you know. I was a powerful summoner. Yes, you are. We saw that, and now you're this. You know, we will be invested in the story. First of all, was this is the lack of information from the past, from the characters. Second, we don't have any contact with the characters. In terms of, we just have one POV, and this is also a down point. We should have two POVs. I think Adam's POV would be very interesting, since he lives with a spirit inside him. So it was very interesting in the writing point of view, the two, because the spirit has his own will, the two minds clash, talking inside him. It's used, for example, I remember on The Host by Stephanie Meyer, she used a lot of that while Melanie was the alien inside her. That was another down point. I think Adam chapter here and there will be interesting, especially if it was a long series and a longer book. Definitely two POVs. We also are introduced to the people who live in the island, the human, let's call it like that, but we are not invested in them. We know them for 2 or 3 scenes, and yeah, if something happened to them, at least I didn't care, because I didn't know them for so long to be emotionally invested on their journey, on their story, on their life. I was like, okay, move. Let's see what happens. You know, you're not invested in their story. You're not invested. You can sympathize with them. I sympathize with the characters, but I was not invested to cry on a death, to see suffering, to see how they team up to defeat the demons. You know, there's here things that miss in a long length novel, because it was so fast that you just, okay, they are characters. Same with the love interest. There's supposed a hinted love or attraction between two characters. I didn't care less, because never hinted, show it in 1 or 2 scenes. That doesn't make me invest on a relationship. That is one of the biggest problems. You're not invest in the characters, you're not invest in the story, you don't invest even on the main character. Another thing that I really didn't enjoy was some plot convenience. She has a pendant that suppose has summon spirits. I think she has 2, for what I understand, a gorilla and the dragon. The dragon is inside Amma, so she must have still the gorilla. And fighting the demon prince, the pendant doesn't work, because she can fight one on hand. But when she's surrounded by lesser demons, which should be less stronger, the pendant, boom, because she couldn't fight. And that is a very good, big plot convenience. It's like, same thing with Adam's grimoire. For months it doesn't appear. Adams is sick, and since the grimoire is connected to the witch soul, it should feel that Adam is dying, and I believe if he dies, the grimoire dies, and since the grimoire has its own intentions, I would feel like he wanted to die, but it doesn't appear. But then it's a big battle, and boom, the grimoire appears. You know, that is a very plot convenience device that I think it could be done differently. Also, Witch Queen Lilith, very strong. We're running her for decades. She found them, they fought, they won. It feels very everything rushed, you know. I didn't want to be mean, but she's so powerful, they are so powerless, and then in the first time they may see each other in decades, oh, she won the battle. It takes me time to believe that, because if she's so powerful, why when they were in the powerful forms did they won, for example, and now they are weaker, they won? You see the difference? It's like there are here some inconsistencies, some moving paces, some story aspects that doesn't make sense or should be done in a different way. I'm not an writer, so I'm let's not say be in a different way, but on a point of view of a reader, enjoy much more if it was, for example, the demons appear and they found the grimoire and the beginning of the series journey with flashbacks to the past, and then Lilith can appear but they can escape, for example, through a portal or something, you know, fantasy stuff, and they can continue a journey, for example, to try to find allies and to try to gain more power or trying to find a way to defeat her. No, it was okay then, you know, just that. I think the author has his job done. You know, the writing style, it's not bad at all. I liked it. It's not very difficult to go in. She play with the accent of the characters. For example, they don't say you, they say ya. You know, a little bit like because it's a fisher village. Also don't understand very much the world, because the mainland goes to the island and they speak all in English, and then suddenly they have sayings in Portuguese and words in Portuguese, like they speak two languages. There are two languages in the island, or they all speak the language of the mainland, but they have sometimes things in other language. No, some things were a little bit weird. The saying that the author used, it's not a saying that is only traditional to Portuguese. It's a saying that is said in English. Curiosity killed the cat. So it's not a saying that you'll say it's totally Portuguese in terms of sense that no one used the same phrase. For example, we have one that is putting Rocio on Bitesga Street, and that is totally Portuguese, because Bitesga Street and Rocio are two locations in Lisbon, which have, one is, I don't know, 10 meters or something, or 50 meters, and Rocio is a big square, so we are trying to say you have trying to put a big space in a small space. But you see, there were some things that I think, if it was explained more, it will make more sense, even with the world building. I think that is what lacks here. World building, story building, and story connections. Those are the main issues, because the characters could be interesting if I was more invested in them. The idea itself, it's good. The writing style, it's not that bad. It's interesting to read, and it's a very fast-paced story, which could be, with those things of all being told down to a medium pace, which I think would fit a lot more the story. But yeah, without that world building, very much found one adventure story with a lot of misinformation from the past that is hinted but is never showed, is never talked, and left for me as a reader of fantasy wanting more. Yeah, thank you again, Anna, for the arc. Tell me in the comments what you guys think. Tell me in the comments what you guys think about these types of fantasy. How do you prefer? Do you like the big explanations or the past stories of a character to be invest or not? Let's discuss a little bit about this, about taste also. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. It will help a lot this project. Ring the notification bell to be notified each time that I post a video. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, and reading sprints on Fridays if you want to join us live. We are sprinting and we are reading to start the week in the best way. Yeah, and I see you guys on my next video. Bye.